Yo, what is up, guys? Boy here. So Dereck Chisora goes berserk at the Regis Prograis versus Josh Taylor press conference. Of course, he is fighting Joseph Parker as co-main event, and let's put it this way, Dereck Chisora really wasn't playing ball. Now, I'm going to paraphrase what he said and his issues. Essentially, he was unhappy that he was co-main event. In his mind, he was the guy who was basically selling the show based off his name, based off his fight. He was the guy who was going to shift pay-per-views to the casual audience, and also he would contribute to the live gate, of course. So Dereck was, he was unhappy that in his mind, the main event was being sold off the back of his name. My personal favourite quote was when he was talking to Adam Smith, and now this was a hilarious line. Adam Smith basically tried to brush over Chisora's antics, but Chisora wasn't having any of it. He said basically to Adam Smith, "I'm going to get on with it if you tell me am I the main event or not. If not, give me more money and then we get to business. I'm sorry to do this, but I feel like you're fucking me with no Vaseline." Those other words of the eloquent Dereck Chisora. So basically the guy went on a mad one, and I wanted to share my thoughts on what he was saying. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Of course, Chisora will contribute to the amount of pay-per-views sold, and he will also contribute to the live gate. Chisora, he's been around a long time, and he is a name in British boxing, and he's fighting Joseph Parker, who himself is a known guy in the UK. So that fight on its own would do good business, and it would certainly do some type of numbers. I'm not debating that, and he certainly has a point, but I really felt he took the stage away from Regis Prograis and Josh Taylor. That's a tremendous fight at a higher level, I must add. It's champion versus champion in the WBSS final, and both guys are unbeaten and in their prime. This is one of the best fights of the year, and as far as I'm concerned, it deserves the utmost respect, and it should be the top of the bill. For me, Dereck Chisora, he's throwing his toys out the pram, trying to get more money or trying to be main event. I think it's personally about money. I think he's trying to up his purse. But the fact he was sitting there at the press conference, he must have signed some type of contract to say he would take this fight as co-main event. So for him now to renege on that and, try to negotiate a higher payday or for him to be main event is a little bit, I think it's a bit disrespectful, if I'm being honest. Disrespectful to Prograis and Josh Taylor. And let's be honest about it, yeah? Chisora's lost 9 fights. Every single time the guy steps up, he loses. He's got some semi-decent wins, but he's not got wins at world level. He is the perennial fringe contender. If Chisora wants to headline a pay-per-view, try winning some fights first at a good level. That's a good start, right? And if pay-per-view was so important for Dereck Chisora, if headlining was so important on pay-per-view, well, why did you turn down the Anthony Joshua fight in 2016? He could have fought Joshua on pay-per-view, but he chose to fight Pulev in Germany instead. So it wasn't really important to him then. Why now? Why take the shine away from these guys who have put themselves in a tournament to become a unified champion, who have fought good competition? This is their moment. At least one, if not both of these guys, I think will be major players in boxing's future over the next few years. This is great exposure for these guys. To me, Chisora just being disrespectful, in my opinion. Listen, I get his point about he's a name, he's selling pay-per-views, and he's selling a lot of tickets. I get that, right? I do. But at the end of the day, boxing's a business. And like I said, I understand that side of Chisora. I get where he's coming from. But we do need to award success and ambition as well. Not just reward guys who throw a couple of tables to get a big payday and cause controversy. That's all well and good. It gets people interested, but I just feel the way Chisora handled himself was a little bit distasteful and disrespectful. And also, by the way, yes, Chisora is a name, but how big of a name is he really? He's headlined one pay-per-view and he was B-side to Dillian White. Dillian White is more well known than Chisora. Chisora can't headline a pay-per-view against anybody. If he could, they would have made Chisora Parker as a separate pay-per-view. If you don't believe they would have done that, then you're crazy. This is Eddie Hearn we're talking about. If he felt he could make Chisora Parker as a separate pay-per-view, he would have done. I think Hearn realised Chisora versus Parker as a headliner is a little bit weak. It's a good fight, don't get me wrong. It's a really good fight. But pay-per-view headliner? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure, man. I'm really not. So, he thought fit to put it on this card. And I think he made the right decision, in all honesty. But, Chisora, he's being Chisora. We expect these type of tantrums. I just think it was a bit distasteful. And it took the shine away from Prograis and Josh Taylor. This is their event. This is their event. Don't take the shine away from them. You've had your opportunities of greatness against Vitaly Klitschko, against David Haye, against Dillian White twice. He's had opportunities against Fury, but he never capitalised. So why try and take the shine away from up-and-coming guys who are really trying to achieve something? It just doesn't really sit right with me. I know there's a few Chisora fanboys out there, and they're going to side with Chisora. But it is what it is. That's how I feel about this situation. I do kind of get where Chisora's coming from, but listen, man, at some point we need to award ambition and people striving to be great. That's what we should really be applauding as boxing fans. That's what we should be paying for, as far as I'm concerned. But there we go, That's just my 2 cents. Share your thoughts below. Peace.